Let's rock and roll. Ready to go? Mic's open? Yep. Mic's open. All right, fantastic. Good afternoon, everyone. We have a quorum. Gonna go. It's cold outside. It's cold here. So we want to get this party going. With that said, 401, thank you very much. 401, we're going to call the Tweed New Haven Airport Board of Directors meeting to order. Wednesday, January 21st. First order of business is to approve the meeting or the minutes from the December 17th meeting. Do we have a motion to approve? Motion's been approved and moved, seconded by Linda. Any comments, suggestions, or questions on last month's minutes? Seeing none, I ask for your vote. All in favor of approving last month's minutes signify by saying aye, raising your hand.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. The minutes are approved. On to agenda point number 3, which is the chairman's report. I do have one or two things to bring the board up to speed on. First is, in accordance with Tom Rafter's employment contract that we approved his transition in October 2025. His contract officially expires, as we all know, and has been communicated to on January 23rd of this month. I'm happy to announce that after self-reflection by Tom, he has come to the executive board and has requested that he stay on as an executive director, not just through a transition period, but he's going to stay on through the end of the project. Yes. So Tom will, though, it will not be 40 hours a week. Tom will move to 30 hours a week, and he will hold that consistent schedule until the final completion of the contract or the construction of the project. Obviously, if something comes up, we as a board will deal with that on a case-by-case basis, but knock on wood, Tom will be with us until the end of the project. Keeping that to maintain that kind of the continuity of coverage. As I mentioned, Tom will work 30 hours a week, Tuesday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 6. He'll be off on Mondays and Fridays, but obviously available 24/7. To again, maintain that continuity of coverage, we have Milena, we have Milena, who obviously will maintain her 40-hour per week schedule. She will work Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. She'll work remote Tuesdays and Thursdays and be available 24/7. So thank you, Tom. I think the board, round of applause. Everybody.
That is great news, Mr. Chair.
All right, fantastic. So before you ask the question, what does that mean in terms of our contract with ADK and the Executive Search Committee? And the executive board, after further discussion, we've decided to put a pause on the executive director's search. We're not going to close the file or end the contract with ADK. We're just going to pause it for right now and reevaluate as we go along. If there is a Tom Rafter 2.0 out in the universe, which I don't believe there is, and he comes across ADK, maybe we bring that individual in for a conversation. But if not, we're going to continue with the workflow as it currently is, with the exception of Tom being reduced down to 30 hours per week. With that said, any questions from the board? Seeing none, congratulations, Tom. Welcome.
Thank you, Tom. Congratulations.
All right, so with the end of the chair, that's the end of the chairman's report. And then, Tom, it's your floor, executive director's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a brief report this month. We submitted the request for funding under the Infrastructure Investment Jobs Act for $30 million for the terminal project. That was based on the notice of funding opportunity. So we're hopefully going to compete very well with that. And just the other thing I have is just a reminder, to board members, please submit your conflict of interest forms from Elena before the end of the month. Statistics. We've got, the October statistics are in your packet. Employments for the month are up 11% over last year. Year to date, they're up 31%. And for the 12-month period ending October, we had 727,154 total employments. So about 1.4 total passengers. I'm just amazed every time I see these statistics and the numbers. It's very, very impressive, I can tell you that, but the details again are in your packet, and that concludes my report.
Fantastic. Any comments or questions on the executive director's report? All right, fantastic. Seeing none, we'll move on to item 5, Finance Committee report. Serena?
Good afternoon, everybody. I am so excited about the news today, but with that being said, we have reviewed the financials, and Tom is going to do the full report. Thank you.
Thank you, Serena. In the airfield account, the revenues for November, actual revenues excluding lessee subsidy of $221,043 in total came in at $84,147. The actual subsidy required was under budget by $99,065 for the month, and year-to-date actual revenues excluding the $1.149 million subsidy were $480,000 or better than budget by $2,533. The expenses in the airfield were $305,191, which is under budget by $111,441. Year-to-date expenses of $1,629,191 are below budget by $453,971. In the admin account, the revenues for November were $61,115, which is under budget by $24,740. Year-to-date actual revenues were $326,748, which is under budget by $51,250. Expenses in the admin account for the month were $77,661. Year-to-date actual expenses were $316,984, which is under budget by $107,253. Actual net results for the admin fund for November was a negative $16,548, but year-to-date at this point is a positive $9,763. Balance sheet, the fund balance at the end of this period is $380,777, and overall liabilities and fund balances were $2,106,731. That concludes the finance report.
Thank you. Any questions on the financial report? Yes. Who's raising their hand? I can't see. Mark Sussel, is that you?
Yeah, that's me. Hey, I tried to get off. Happy New Year, by the way, everybody.
Happy New Year.
I tried to get off mute earlier about Tom. I guess it's financially a financial question, anyways. Weren't we paying an administrative fee to somebody to go find a replacement?
So 80K?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that what 80K was?
Yeah, that's what Robert referred
Yeah.
to earlier. That has been put on pause.
So that money is just set aside, or is that go to that?
I believe it's, I forget the technical term, but it's committed because we have a signed agreement with them.
Okay,
Bird.
but they're gonna like put that aside, and then we can come back to them. Is that the?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll settle. They'll send us an invoice, Mark, for work completed to date. We'll settle that account. And then the balance of the money that's been budgeted for that search will remain in an account.
Like an escrow or something. Okay. All right. That was my question. Thank you.
Miss seeing you. Any other questions on the financial report? All right, great. Seeing none, we'll move on to item 6, Airport Manager Report, Airfield Operation. Mr. Jarrett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon. To start, just want to give you an update. It's hard to believe that The holidays are already some month behind us, maybe a little less, but we are on the positive side of that, and just want to report back that it was a relatively smooth holiday travel season here at Tweed. We got good feedback from customers. I don't think there was any significant compared to the year prior. There's no significant delays or significant impacts to the neighborhoods. We've really tried to work very closely with the city, and we got great support from New Haven Police, TSA, working together with the airlines. So it was a much better outcome, I think, than maybe a year prior. Tom's going to share with you some statistics on what that looks like a little bit more in more detail. But just wanted to give our appreciation to the Tweed community for working together and making sure that traveling community had the best possible service during that time. I mean, we really do value stepping back, value the opportunity to connect people with their loved ones. And we do that throughout the year, but especially during the holidays, it's a special time. And so we really try to do our best to that end. With that, we are in the midst of this winter weather, and we had some weather last Sunday into Monday. We got a couple inches here, maybe 3 or 4, give or take. It's hard to tell sometimes with the snow tends to blow a lot around the airfield, but with that did come some significant icing on the overnight. We did have some delays on Monday morning, just due to some of the conditions on the runway. Even though it was not a large amount of snow, it was an extended event. It kind of beats up the staff and the equipment. A lot of equipment starts to freeze over. We do have some equipment down that we're working to get back online here, which we will have online for this upcoming event. And every storm's different. But we persevered and got everyone safely to their destinations, and but that geared us up for this storm coming up this weekend. So Sunday and the Monday, we're expecting a nice 36-hour event with plus or minus inches of snow. Our staff is ready to go. We are going to be, as always, we schedule advanced calls with airlines and our tenants to prepare everyone for that. We usually have 2 or 3 prior to a snow event. Probably spend a little bit more time due to the impacts that we expect. And I would expect probably that there would be, whereas this last storm, the air carriers continued to operate, I would expect maybe in this storm, based on these numbers, that we'll see some impactful cancellations. So we'll keep everyone informed on that. Couple more items. Certification inspection. We have our annual inspection with the FAA that has been scheduled for the month of April. I think it's 7th through the 9th are the dates. We just had a meeting today, reviewing our inspection from last year and making sure that we're trying to, obviously we've corrected any discrepancies from last year, which were few. But we also get a series of recommendations that the FAA will give to us. So we're always looking to make improvements where we can, even if it is only a recommendation. So we're making some headway on those items. And finally, just one item just to keep you, we've been privileged to be adding to our fleet of vehicles here over the years. We've added some new snow removal equipment. Mostly, we've got a couple new pieces of ARF equipment. But one item that we are pursuing is the replacement of our backup ARF truck, which is a 1995. It's over 30 years old. So we are working to acquire a replacement for that vehicle through whatever means are available, just so we have that reliability of our coverage. So currently we have, we're required to have 2 in service at all times, with one as a backup. So if that backup goes down, we're in a a tough situation where we'll have to often rent a vehicle. Most of them come from South Carolina. We have to ship them up. There's a large expense to that. So we're trying to reduce that operational expense for the long haul. So one item that we're working towards in the coming months. And that concludes my report for airside.
Any questions for Jeremy on the airside operations? Seeing none. Jeremy.
Okay. Lessee's report, landside. First item, Avelo, you've probably seen in the news, their announcements for consolidating their network. They are downsizing, closing some stations. They'll probably open some new or maybe reopen some new. But just to confirm, that we don't expect here at Tweed to be impacted to a great extent based on that news. We're actually seeing it as a positive, as it shows that Avelo is looking to put more focus on Tweed. And because, we're their largest hub. So I think they're gonna not only focus on making this operation or improving the operation with us collectively, but also gearing up for the delivery of their new fleet of aircraft, the E195s. They're consolidating down to removing most of their 737-700s and keeping their 800s in service here at Tweed. They might have one 700 for a few select routes, but the 800 is a larger aircraft, higher payload. So we don't expect to see a big shift in our employment numbers. However, they did announce shutting down the Detroit, the Dulles, and the New Orleans destinations. But they'll be, tweaking their whole schedule. We don't know what those changes will be to date, but we'll have more details on that in the coming months. And we're excited to, see the next chapter as we, again, continue to work towards the building of the new terminal and the extension of the runway and the introduction of those new aircraft. Earlier this week, I think it was this week, we had the days all together. Recently, we had a visit from the TSA Chief of Staff based in DC. And we were had some time just to have some one-on-one time just to discuss activity here at the airport, and they expressed to us their appreciation for partnership with Tweed. And we felt that really shows their commitment to the continued growth and development here. Again, great working relationship with the local and the state staff leadership here in the state. And we're looking forward to continuing to grow that relationship. A couple more items. You may see or hear very soon, we will be opening a new office space for Avport's staff and our support staff as we gear up to develop the new terminal. We've just outgrown the space, and it's very cozy. We enjoy working together. You'll see a group of 5 or 6 people in this room every day, in addition to every single office space around up in the second floor as well as the first floor. So we share a lot of space, but we continue to grow. So we opted to go out and secure some space in East Haven over on South Shore Road. And we're looking to open that new space up next month. Be happy to show anyone who would like a tour. We're really excited. We transformed the space into something that's really going to be we're going to be proud of, and look forward to holding meetings there and hosting as many of our events as we can. But also just gives us some space to, it's a lot of distractions when you're working at the airport, and sometimes it's good just to have that space to really focus strategically on the things we need to accomplish. So you'll see our operations staff will remain here. I will be remaining here in the administration building, as well as our staff. And then more of the administrative team will be located over there. But we're setting ourselves up to be very mobile. So a lot of plug-in stations. We all have laptops. We're very mobile. So you'll still see Michael over here and the rest of the team, being visible from time to time. But we just needed to kind of give ourselves some space as we grow the team, and we're going to bring on more contractors. So just wanted to keep you aware of that. And then finally, I think we mentioned it last meeting, but just to reiterate, I think there were still some questions on the CMAR. So just to summarize, the CMAR agreement is between Consigli, which is the construction manager, and at the new HVN. And we're all working collectively together with AFPorts and STV, who is our program manager. The difference here, though, typically you would have an agreement directly with the authority, but as a public-private partnership, the arrangement's a little bit different. So the authority's role is more of a supportive role as far as the financing piece.
Getting the money.
Getting the money. And, I think we receive, look forward to, providing, I think there's been some opportunities for, go ahead.
Okay. Getting some of the money. We're fortunate to have the P3.
Right. We're trying to get creative with that on, exhausting all the opportunities to find those resources, which are extensive. But I think there have been some opportunities to receive some feedback on the project, and there probably will be some future. But as we are today, we continue to work through the permitting project with the permitting program with DEEP. And you'll hear more on that. Thanks. What's ahead? Tom, I'll hand it over to you. Unless there's I'll take any question.
Yeah, any questions? Any question now? Ray?
Yeah, I got one. Thanks, Chair. With the new moving to the office space and with everything coming up, I was just wondering if you could touch on maybe some jobs being created for folks in the area with the new office space and stuff moving forward.
Sure. Well, I can tell you, since Avelo started in 21, we were around 20 employees. Today, we are approaching 60. That's just AFPorts, our team. That fluctuates, day to day, but our budget, and I'm actually putting together our budget today. Just put another number in front of, or another alternative on the desk of our CEO. And, we're probably adding another 5 to 10 positions, depending on how some aspects of the business flush out. I think, Avelo, so that's just internally, but also as we continue to get closer and closer to development, our consulting group is vast. I mean, we have meetings with, 20, 30 people at a time. And that network of support, is far reaching. So I can't give you an exact number, but the fact that we're going out on our own dime and finding that additional space just shows you that the need that we have, and our commitment to growing staff and developing the team that's going to take us into the future here at Tweed.
Are those opportunities available on the website?
Yes, and I'll be happy to, we have, our director, our manager of human resources, we can share that contact information, but if you go to afports.com as well as the flytweed.com website, we regularly post positions on an ongoing basis. And so happy to share those with you, and if you know people that are looking for work and want to be involved in this project and the community here, we're always looking for well-qualified people to join the team.
Awesome. Thank you.
Any other questions for Jeremy? Tom, yours.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Happy New Year, everyone. I know it's a little bit late in January to say it, but I guess it'll be my last chance to do so. Just to kind of follow up on Jeremy's update on the holiday travel period. So between December 18th through January 5th, we had approximately 104,000 passengers travel through HVN. And so again, kind of looking at that really several week period to have over 100,000 passengers travel through the airport is pretty remarkable. Our peak day during that period was December 28th, when within that one day we had just over 7,000 passengers come through the airport. And so, again, it's hard to emphasize really just how incredible the growth is, how incredible the demand is, and especially when you compare it to last year's holiday period and really benchmark where we are today from where we were then. Our operations ran significantly more smoothly, and that reflects the kind of cumulative impact of all the different improvements we have made throughout the year. And so just some of those include increased staffing, decompressing the airline schedule in coordination with the airlines, the installation of a third TSA scanner. We constructed the roundabout in partnership with the city of New Haven, which provides relief both to internal and external traffic congestion. We increased the police presence both on the airport and off the airport. And so those, among a variety of other improvements over the past year, have clearly made a noticeable difference in our ability to move passengers in and out of the airport. And of course, it's not a moment then to rest on our laurels. We're going to continue to make improvements as we go through the next year, continue to iterate, improve, to make this the best travel experience possible, but also to accommodate the growth and that activity with the surrounding community. And to that end, we had also worked with the city to install a digital sign off of exit 50. And so that digital sign encouraged passengers during that peak period to check parking availability prior to driving down Townsend Avenue and Fort Hale, just as a way to be a little bit more proactive in deterring unnecessary traffic through the community when it wasn't necessary, and we could just sort of get them a little bit earlier in their journey to go to offsite parking. So previously, our offsite parking during peak periods was really an overflow lot, was Temple Street Garage. Over the holiday period, we have soft launched and we have moved away from Temple Street Garage and are now utilizing Long Wharf Garage. And that will be a more permanent offsite parking option for travelers. We soft launched that over the holiday period and it was sold out. We didn't do any marketing, we didn't do any promotion, just naturally and organically the demand was there and it was incredibly high. And so it was a great success. And again, having that offsite parking option also helps us reduce traffic coming through the community. It just helps us to shift a larger share of vehicles off of local streets and onto a shuttle service that will be available for that offsite lot. So over the coming weeks, we're going to do a little bit more promotion of it and really integrate that parking option into the overall reservation system. So when you go to park as a passenger, you have lot A, B, and C. Now you can also select Long Wharf Garage as a fourth option for parking. So it's just a great additional option for passengers. And obviously with a positive benefit to the community. And so just to kind of wrap up this one piece on holiday travel, really wanted to express our thanks to the New Haven Police Department. I mean, they bring a tremendous amount of dedication to the airport and collaboration every single day. And of course, to the city for their continued partnership and support as we work through these periods, to make sure that we're making all the adjustments necessary to reflect the feedback that we receive from the community. And again, just to make this the kind of best possible travel experience we can, and directly incorporating that community feedback into our operation. Just going to run through some community updates earlier this month. We're really, really thrilled to welcome graduate students from the Yale School of Architecture who are in a design studio examining the expansion of Ibiza Airport in Spain. So we're able to welcome them here to the airport, provide a tour of the East Terminal, and also to walk them through the thought and design process for the the West Terminal, and then of course the design process for the East Terminal, just to give them some real life considerations that we have every day that they can bring back to the classroom in their project. So it's a great partnership, and we're grateful for them for reaching out. They have an airport in their backyard, and they took advantage of it. We're always glad for those kind of educational student partnerships. Earlier today, we also welcomed Rachel Rusconi, the new president of the Shoreline Chamber of Commerce, for a discussion and tour really about strengthening the connectivity between the airport and the shoreline business community, all of whom benefit from increased tourism and business travel in the region. This partnership is a great complement to our existing memberships in the East Haven, New Haven, and Amity Chambers of Commerce. And again, just really emphasizing the positive regional and statewide impact that we have, and of course, our membership in CBIA, the State Business Association. So we're always glad to really engage in those partnerships and build those points of connectivity. On our residential indoor air program or air purifiers, a follow-up letter will be sent out in the coming weeks to all of the remaining eligible residents, noting that our application deadline is now extended to the middle of March. And that will allow some additional time for them to get their applications in. That letter will encourage their participation in the program. And then again, overall, our goal and effort is to drive as much participation as we possibly can. We've seen strong engagement today, but as the program nears to its conclusion, just doing everything that we can to encourage that final participation. Upon conclusion of the program, of course, we'll circle back here to the board and provide a full roll-up of the program, its success, feedback, and metrics. And then on the portable noise monitoring program, so we shifted course slightly. Originally, our goal was we were going to pull those monitors in over the winter period, but shifted course slightly and actually put out one of the portable noise monitors to a residential property on the northwest corner of the airport, just to ensure we can capture data as we go through the winter months and as we kind of come out into the summer, capture a Four Seasons look. And so that monitor is up and live right now, all available on our WebTrack dashboard for everybody to see. And then finally, my last update, we had mentioned this at last meeting, but we have the information earlier this month. We announced and published details for our upcoming public information session, which will be held at East Haven High School on January 27th at 6 p.m. This is a session, really a kind of public information meeting. It's not a requirement of our CTE application, but nonetheless, an opportunity for us to provide more information and background on our application to CT Deep. Why are we applying to Deep? What does the application and the process look at? And importantly, what the community can expect during that application process and how they can meaningfully engage as we go through that environmental permitting. This meeting will not discuss the merits of the application, and it will not address any existing concerns about the project. This will be designed specifically to provide an overview to the public on the application itself. How does the application process work? And then how throughout that application process can the public engage in it? We'll have representatives from our environmental consulting firm, Hoyle Tanner, there to provide a presentation and answer questions during Q&A. We'll also have a representative from CT Deep there to answer questions and provide information on the public engagement piece. We will have future meetings after this one where we will provide more information on the actual environmental mitigation strategies and go more into the application itself. Which is why this meeting will not focus on those pieces of the project. And again, really just emphasizing the application itself to provide as much clarity and transparency around the project as we possibly can.
Any questions for Tom?
Hey, Tom, this is Dean Johnson. I received information about a outreach campaign to the mayors of East Haven and New Haven, where you could put in your name, your address, and some other small piece of information, and they could click, and the mayors would receive an email on this. And I kind of got busy behind it and tried to enlist as many people as I could. Do you have any feedback on that?
Not off the top of my head currently, but certainly, we have seen strong engagement. I don't have an exact number. By that, I mean, but overall, we've seen incredibly strong engagement for, everybody's awareness. This is really just an effort to continue to articulate the value of the project, the momentum of the project, and the impact that this project has on our region, not just from a traveler standpoint and an individual standpoint as a resident, but also to businesses, both small and large. And the feedback we've gotten on that so far has been very positive. We've seen a lot of engagement across all sort of types of letters. And again, that's sort of large and small businesses and individuals and residents. And so that feedback has been incredibly strong. I can provide a maybe more detailed report, but just continues to show and articulate that this is an important project. The demand is there. The business sector is really has a lot to gain from the expansion of the airport, more air service development, and then of course for individual travelers and passengers themselves. So appreciate your support, and you getting the message out into the rest of the board members. Continue to support the project and advocate for its importance.
So you have no statistics on it?
We do not off the top of my head that I'd be able to share right now, but
okay,
certainly
I'd love to see that. My personal experience, and here's a sample size of one, is I've probably sent this out to 100 people. And of that 100, the sentiment has been extremely strong, and it may have generated, 50. But some of the people I sent it to took it upon themselves to send it to their network too. Now, I don't expect that, I don't expect letters to, New Haven and East Haven to go viral, but I would be very interested to seeing whether this moves the needle in the way that you want it to, right? I mean, it seemed to be something I could do. I got behind it, and other people have gotten behind it, but I really want to make sure this is the most efficacious thing that I can do to spend my time on behalf of the airport.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can circle back with some more information, but again, just appreciate the support. And, again, like you said, you sent some of these things out and it just has a multiplying effect because of how many people are involved and stand to gain. So appreciate that. And we'll circle back with some more information.
I think Linda had a question.
Yeah, just one question in regards to the offsite parking.
Yeah.
On Long Wharf. Is it a continuous shuttle? Do people have to call for a shuttle? And the overall response, when the people got here or back to their car, was it positive?
Yeah,
Could everyone hear Linda's question?
Sorry. I talk soft.
Does she need to repeat it?
just
Why don't you repeat it?
Yeah. Just the question on offsite parking at Long Wharf, how does the shuttle service work and feedback to date? So the feedback was positive, importantly too, it's a covered garage, which is extra helpful during the winter months. It seemed to be very easy for passengers to use. The instructions are relatively clear. We also, before we launched the garage, went in there and made sure that there was appropriate signage. We'll constantly try and update signage as well. You could put a million arrows and there's always going to be a couple people who don't know which way to turn, but overall it was went very well. And kind of the soft launch allowed us to really evaluate, look at, what works, what doesn't work. But we were very pleased with the results. And so we'll continue to lean into that, as we market out the garage more. And then as for shuttle service,
I can add to that if you like. So reservations are required to park there. So that's how they base the shuttle
Got it.
operation.
Okay.
But just for clarity for everyone, if you go to parkhvn.com, share that with your contacts if they're wanting to use that service. But that has all the detail, and they can reserve directly via that website. But when there's reservation, it runs very continuous. They know that people are going to be coming and going. And then we adjust based on delays.
Correct. Okay, thanks.
So I have a question. I have a follow-up question on that. So if someone just decides to drive to Longworth without a parking reservation, they can still park there. Are they able to get on the HVN shuttle to the airport without a reservation?
They could, and that, there's always going to be a nuance to the different situations, but in theory, someone could drive there. If there's availability, they could make a reservation. I don't know if I'd have to check with Tim to see if there's a minimum amount of time that's required because we're offering that shuttle service. We don't want someone to be stranded there. But I can definitely get that more, detail on those types of scenarios. But we never want to leave someone stranded. So if someone's there,
Yeah, there's signage for.
there's signage and phone numbers, and we'll make every effort we can to get the people where they need to go.
Right. So my second question is regarding the upcoming DEEP meeting on the 27th. So with the upcoming projected weather that we have, which may be a 36-hour events, when do you make the go, no-go call to hold that? And then you got to get the public notice out. So when's that going to be made?
Yeah, I believe, I'm not 100% sure, is that we're expecting by Tuesday night, we should be relatively in the clear.
The event's on
Maybe
Tuesday.
not, it is on Tuesday.
It'll go into Tuesday. It'll be wrapping up, but you got to remember too, you got parking lots to clear.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that that's something we'll make a judgment call. I would say probably by this weekend, so we can give people some time to make an adjustment. And then, because on our end, we just have to work on some of our schedules. We have our consultants flying in. And so we'll make sure that we give some appropriate notice for the weather event. Nonetheless, these are always recorded. But we understand that the in-person Q&A portion is where really people have the opportunity to engage, and we want to make sure that that's as, robust as possible.
And I would say by probably Friday noontime, we'd have the weather will be pretty locked in, and so we can probably start to make some decisions at that
Yeah,
point.
that would be important. Right. We want public participation. We've communicated through the press, public participation. So we want to get.
Yeah.
Cancellation want to happen. We want to make sure
Absolutely. And just also
for rescheduling.
Yeah, and just underline too, as far as our communications about this event out to the public, this has gone out to the press, it's gone out on our newsletters, through the ESMT Shore Community Management Team email distribution list, and through all the appropriate channels. It's on our website, on social media. And so we've done our best to really push this out to encourage engagement. But it's a great point. We'll make sure we adjust accordingly.
Very great. Any further questions for Tom? Great job, Tom. In terms of items 8 and 9 on our agenda, we have no business on either one of those points, so we will pass and go to public comments. Felipe. So I'm going to have a tough time with your name. I'm so sorry. So please state your name and address.
Trina Yoxall, 146 Stuyvesant Avenue, New Haven.
Nice to hear from you. Go ahead.
Okay, again, I have many issues with the airport. One of my main issues is with the traffic parking and the vehicles that are lingering on our streets. Just last week, we had a vehicle that pulled into the neighbor's yard across the street, into her driveway, and sat there. This is a person who lives alone. 2 men in a car in her driveway. And this is the first time that I'm aware of that has happened in my immediate area. But we continually have vehicles that are parked on our streets that are occupied. We have no idea who they are. Again, traffic is a major issue. It is sometimes impossible to get back home. If you go into East Haven, you have to actually go back to Main Street, go all the way down to Townsend Avenue and try and come in that way. You can't get down Dodge Avenue, and there's no intersecting streets there until you come to Hall Street. So if you're at the end of that line, you're not going anywhere. Also, a suggestion would be for me is to put up a four-way signs that indicate not to block the intersection of Burr and Fort Hale. It is continually a problem. I was on that street about 2 weeks ago, tried to go straight, and a woman cut me off to get into the airport, blocking the intersection so I couldn't get by. I was making my way through and she deliberately pulled in front of me and blocked me. This is a real problem for this neighborhood. We can't have any normalcy when this airport is busy. There's no normalcy at all. As far as the roundabout, not everybody follows it. There's an awful lot of traffic that's coming back onto Burr Street, heading toward Fort Hale from the exit. So it might have alleviated a little bit, but it did not solve the problem. Again, as I said, I'm very concerned with a lot of strangers parking on our streets. And if you ask them politely or, indicate to them that there's a sign right in front of them that says no standing, residential parking only. I have been cussed at. I have been flipped off. I've been told to mind my business. I've been asked if I was a cop. These are real problems for this neighborhood. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's what the immediate problems are.
Seconds left.
Okay, all right, so we're going to go into emissions and noise, and that covers it. Also, I have to just make one more comment. This is a professional meeting, and Mr. Johnson, I found it rude that you were eating during it. This is not the way to conduct business at a professional meeting. Thank you.
Mary Caruso, your name and address, if I pronounced that correctly, sorry.
Hi, yes, Mary Caruso. I'm on North Street in North Branford.
Go ahead, please.
I wanted to ask a question about your passenger pickup area. I recently had to go pick up my daughter from the airport, and I could not find an ADA compliant pickup area in the new arrival setup. If anyone could speak to that, we have sent a couple of emails in questioning that. And then since you spoke about the Long Wharf parking shuttle, which sounds like a great idea, I was just wondering if that shuttle is ADA compliant and, if it is, if that information is on the website. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. I would direct your attention to the website. If you can't find that information on the website, then feel free to send an email. I don't know who you've sent emails to in the past, but try sending another email or first see if you can find that information on our website.
Yeah, I did. I am on the website. I don't really see anything either on the Long Wharf, and I definitely couldn't find anything about pickup. And when I did go to pick up, I could not find the pickup area.
Okay. Ms. Caruso, we'll get your contact information. We'll have somebody from operations follow up with you directly.
That would be great. Thanks so much.
Okay. Lorena Vegas. How are you, ma'am?
Hi, my name is Lorena Venegas. I come to this
Vegas, I'm
meeting
sorry.
every month. And
I
it's
know.
a
I'll get better.
mispronunciation
I'll get better,
of a
Lorena.
very
I'm sorry.
easy name. Yes.
I'll get better.
Yeah, my name is Lorena Venegas and I live in East Haven. And this board meeting has been very disingenuous and misleading to the residents of Connecticut. Number one, you failed to include in the agenda the KR Robinson Aviation application for non-conforming use of the fuel tanks, which East Haven Zoning Board of Appeals denied the appeal application. And Attorney John Nuff threatened to sue East Haven. You didn't mention that. Number two, the Connecticut Department of Energy and the Environment has sent you a letter of insufficiency that was sent in August of 2025 for the 3,000-page application. You were supposed to submit all those materials you had from August to December. You didn't do it. So now that application is void. You have to start everything all over again. You have removed the 3,000-page application from public access from the website, so nobody can even read it anymore. And you missed the deadline. You actually had your attorney send in the rebuttal Connecticut Deep letter the same day that it was due, but it was end of day in business, and Connecticut Deep is not going to take that letter because you actually have to file a whole new application. We don't have any noise or air monitor quality purple air monitors in East Haven. And you've mentioned this at board meetings before. You know that New Haven site has it, East Haven site does not. And when I look at the board meeting right here, who's there? Linda's there and Mark Scuzzle's there, but nobody else is here. Ray Pompano is missing. Ken Dagliere is missing. So when we have missing board members from East Haven who can't ask for the very basic things that you already discussed at prior meetings, it's very deficient for our town. You know, for the new person like Dean Johnson, he might not know that every road to Proto Drive is a flooded state road. So expansion is limited because everything floods around it. You might not know that. I totally am glad that the lady spoke about ADA compliance. And Jeremy's report was so odd because if you go online, there's tons of articles where people were stuck inside the airplane 8 hours or more for delayed, where flights were then canceled, then rescheduled for the next day. Lost luggage because those TSA lines were so long out the door that people had to get on a plane without their luggage, go on their vacation without their luggage, came back, still
30
don't
seconds
know where
left.
their luggage is. So it's very irresponsible to not tell the truth about what's happening at the airport. And you have a lot of things to add to the agenda. I'm shocked.
Thank you, Lorena. Hi, Lisa Brandis. Good evening. State your name and address, please.
Good afternoon, Lisa Brandis, 162 Willard Street, New Haven, Connecticut. First, I want to say that on behalf of New Haven residents and others, I think we're all very pleased that Avello has made a new decision to remove the political contention of their previous activities, and I think that will make it much easier to promote Tweed and its flying destinations and airlines. So I think that is something to be appreciative and think about marketing. I'm also pleased to hear that the offsite parking, which I think is actually cheaper than on-site parking at Long Wharf, was a success. And maybe that's another reason why it was popular, as well as the your willingness to have a shuttle service to the Long Wharf terminal. I would encourage you to think, and perhaps this is something that the city, Carlos and others representing the city, might want to work with Connecticut Transit and the city on transit to the train station. If you're going to have a shuttle to an offsite parking lot, it might make sense to have a shuttle to the airport from the largest transportation hub in the city, in Greater New Haven, and that's Union Station. I'm looking at your ground transportation website, which I appreciate. You have a lot there. I will note that you on that website, and I know it's a new website, you do list Amtrak and Metro North, but you do not list Connecticut Rail, which is the Hartford line and the Shoreline East lines. So I would encourage you to add to your website with ground transportation opportunities. Again, maybe considering working with Connecticut Transit. And the information on buses appears to be incorrect. It looks like you have to call to get a bus, and that's not how buses go to Tweed. So you may want to review that information with someone who's involved in transit, perhaps through the city. But I appreciate your work. I also think having a covered garage and maybe even having covered spaces with solar panels might be a good idea, given that we have winter here in Connecticut. So thank you very much, and I appreciate your work.
Thank you. Michael Giordano, good evening, sir. Name and address.
Good evening, Michael Giordano in Juno Beach, Florida, where we're experiencing a cold wave of about 68 degrees. So don't get jealous. Just a couple of things. Couple of callers ago, one of our favorite topics is the Boeing 737-800 that Avelo uses, and I know Jeremy made reference to it earlier, but yes, we'll be mostly an 800 base here for the until further advised. Effective April 22nd, there'll be no more 700s on the New Haven schedule. All the other bases will become 800 bases immediately on the February schedule change on the 11th. And then we'll keep 1 or 2 700s around for those 2 months, and then we'll be all 800s. So I'm sure she'll be very, very happy about that because they are legal and FAA certified and all that stuff. So she can rest assured, like the community, that we're happy we're going to be having 800s in here all the time. 2 or 3 meetings ago, I think it was Tom, not Rafter, I forget the other gentleman's last name, the community man, mentioned about that there's some prospects for major airlines that are looking at Tweed, and I believe the comment was nothing in 25, but 26, it sort of left eyebrows raised. And obviously you can't disclose any personal inside information of anything like that happening, but I'm sure you're aware that United Airlines is doing lots of expansion in our country this year, and they're looking for airports like Tweed. And Delta is always looking to expand to airports like Tweed. So I know our space is limited, and it sounds crazy to even think that we could have more airlines in here, but I also wouldn't want to see Tweed miss an opportunity. And I know you don't need me to tell you that. I'm sure you're working behind the scenes. So that's what I'm hoping for, announcement down the road of United and/or Delta, or anyone else for that matter, because the time is now, and you guys are doing a great job. Talk to you next month.
Thank you. You. Oh, there's Tony. There's Tony. Tony Laurenti, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Chair and board members, Tony Laurenti, Airline Pilots Association, Airport Liaison Representative for Tweed New Haven Airport, and I'm a Meriden, Connecticut resident. All from a footprint of 394 acres. Not only has the airport not expanded its footprint, it's reduced it by many years ago closing a runway, closing an aircraft parking apron in its entirety and a portion to accommodate alternative uses, and 5 aircraft parking spots have accommodated 725,000 passengers in planing a year, or in part, with certainly more to come. We knew you can do it, Tweed, that little airport. Regarding a previous caller in the neighborhood, a suggestion, don't block the box. We see these often at fire stations That's my humble engineering DOT suggestion. Don't block the box, the specific intersection that she referred to. And above all, an east side terminal just might remedy. Maybe these individuals could support an east side terminal. The multi-jurisdictional and operational responsibilities of Tweed Airport include the FAA, TSA, Air Midwest Air Traffic Control, Avello Air, Breeze Airways, Robinson Aviation, Avports, City of New Haven, and the parking entity. My only critique of Jeremy is that he was not more pronounced and strong in indicating what the airport is actually responsible for as compared to airline operations. I'll humbly submit the airport is not responsible for de-icing aircraft and handling customer complaints. That's usually something originating with me, or I hear first as the captain of an airline flight. The airport's responsible for clearing runways, taxiways, parking areas, airfield maintenance, and not de-icing the airplane. And to listen to activists, in quotes, rally innocent people unwitting to complain and file Freedom of Information Acts over something not even within the span of control of any airport on the planet. So again, if I were 30 seconds, a friendly critique of Jeremy, I would be much more vociferous in defending the responsibility of the airport and its areas of jurisdiction and who is responsible for what. I liken the complaints to I'm never flying this airline again because they took my liquids, except the airline doesn't take your liquid. That's one of the many jurisdictional agencies. Our community activists need to be better and more knowledgeable before they lead the spear against Tweed. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. As we wait for a minute, before I ask for a motion to adjourn, I will remind the board that our next meeting is March 18th at 4 o'clock. Or excuse me, February. I apologize, I'm a month ahead. Bad, Robert. February 18th at 4 o'clock. I also, depending on your the weather conditions, if you can attend the deep meeting on Tuesday, the 1/27 at East Haven High School. The start time is
6 p.m.
6 p.m. I ask you to come out and support. It's going to be a big meeting. And that was my bridge to entertain a motion to adjourn. Mike? Second. Dave? Everyone have a safe weekend with the snowstorm coming up, and take care. Thank you.